I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. This is going to be the beginning of a series of further investigation where I'm going to be looking into Operation Crimson Tide, and I'll explain why, but I also kind of am calling to myself Black Rainbow, okay? Where Black Rainbow comes from, and I'll explain Crimson Tide a little bit. I'm going to have to be careful with what I say if I'm going to put this on YouTube. But I may end up putting it somewhere else, but we'll see how this video goes. And I'll give you instructions somehow, if that's the case. So, Black Rainbow, where does that come from? It actually comes from media, because media is one of the places that they put their intentions symbolically out in front of everyone for them to see and ignore, or see and see. Okay? So it came from Z Nation, which was a still on there, a Netflix series, and towards the end of the series, I think it was in the 4th season, there was something that came up. You're seeing images kind of it here, called Black Rainbow, and it was brought up by this lady here. She's one of the main characters throughout the whole series, and kind of like one of the leaders, and she would have visions of this, okay, and they dubbed it the Black Rainbow, okay, and it kind of rolls through the sky, blocking out the sun, they say, and ultimately, well, let me go back to this. This says, when 3 strikes aren't enough, okay, Black Rainbow. When 3 strikes aren't enough, Black Rainbow. And I think this is symbolism for Crimson Tide. And this is the first of a number of videos to come on Operation Crimson Tide. You can Google that and start looking into it, and I'll try to get you a link to, but if you go over on BitChute and type it in, Crimson Tide, you'll find it. Basically, it is about a supposed weapon that exists that has the ability to control the emotions of human beings. Specifically, human beings that, well, let me show you. Let me go down here. Okay. Specifically, the Black Rainbow or Crimson Tide is supposed to affect people who have done something. Okay? And you can also see Black Rainbow has a gematria of 666. And so does that. And which is a hint that they are tied together. Okay? And if we come back up here real quick and we look at this, did I say Crimson Tide? I think I mean Crimson Mist. Yeah, I think it's Crimson Mist. I apologize. I'll have to change that somehow. Anyways, Crimson Mist. Apologize. And it matches Black Swan event. Black Swan event. Black Rainbow. very, very similar, especially when you understand what the black rainbow is supposed to do, which is to annihilate any life that is left after. Now, of course, this is in chosen areas, wherever those chosen areas would be in this crazy world that I'm talking about that potentially could happen. But it's people that have had this, which is that are going to be at risk, okay? Especially recent ones, okay? I can't say how far back it goes because I've had this too. But it was back in my military days. And I know that this has had effect on me because it nearly sterilized me. Luckily, I was able to still produce a couple of children, but it nearly sterilized me for sure, absolutely. And I ain't alone. Most of you listening to my voice are affected in some way or another. So just to finish through this real quick, we've got that. Same gematria, same mathematics, same numbers, and that is tied. That is exactly what this is. And let's see. Let me show you why this is exactly what this is. Biblical reference, okay? I'll read this real quick. It said, "And I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from the heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Now it says, causeth them to worship. Now, if your mind was being controlled because you had a software upgrade, and that's exactly what they've called the MR, is the software upgrade, basically. Is the way they've talked about it. I've read about it. So if you were wandering after the beast because it had control of your mind in some way, shape, or form, which it does for many of us even right now, but we're trying to pull out of that, aren't we? But I would think that would qualify as worshiping for sure. And it said, it says on 14, I know you can't quite see this. We're going to show you a couple of things in a second that you will be able to see better. It said, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do, in the sight of men, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak, like an AI robot, or your phone that you're carrying around, your cell. We're all going to have to figure out how to get rid of those. You know that, right? Yep. I still have one. I do not carry it around, and I do not answer phone calls that I don't know who that person is because they're not programmed in my phone. Just like I don't answer the front door just for anyone. If I don't know who they are, they got to keep walking. You have a choice whether you let the devil in your house. Said, and caused the many as would not to worship. Let me reread that. And caused that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So kill you or try to kill you or should. It says should. It does not say will. And he causeth all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the right foreheads, and that no man shall buy or sell. And you can see it's all leading right this direction, isn't it? Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And we're going to talk about the mark here in just a second. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? Okay. 666, which is Greek. The translation was in Greek, and its number is 5516. And it says, in some of you guys, this will be a review partly for you, but others it will not be. It says the 22nd, 14th, and an obsolete letter, obsolete meaning they don't use it anymore, okay? And it says here, G4742, as a cross. See the cross here, or the X, okay? That was the Greek letters for 600, or 6, basically. Okay? Well, really for 600. And it says, used as numbers denoting respectively 660, and 666 as a numeral. Now, if you click and go further into this as to the meaning behind the numeral, as it says there, you can use it as a numeral, but it has a meaning. And so if we look into G4742, where it comes from, it says a stigma. Okay? Stigma. You're familiar with that word, right? It says from a primary to stick, i.e. prick, a mark incised or punched for recognition of ownership. Figuratively, scar of service. Recognition of ownership. The X. Okay? And I was just showing you this movie up above, up here. And in this movie, where this comes from, what they would do to people is they would put an X on them when they did this to them. When they did that to them to try to save them from becoming a zombie, they put an X on their arms. And I've shown you guys that before. But we're researching because this ties into this. I have to explain because we're talking about Black Rainbow, right? Or Crimson. I'm still confused here again. Crimson Mist. Yeah. Okay. So, where does this come from? What am I talking about? Crimson Mist. It comes from back an event that took place in Africa many years ago, and I'm trying to think of the name of the country. Was it Rwanda? No, I can't remember. I'm so sure somebody will write it in the comments for me. But the story goes that there were two warring tribal areas, or two country areas warring against each other, or at the verge of war. And the United States military came through and gave them a little help with a crimson mist to drive them insane, belligerent, into rage. But they had to have something before that could happen. They had to have their software upgrade, right? That's why I say don't get the software upgrade, and you will not be subject to these things. And I wonder how they're going to be able to implement this on a larger scale, okay? Well, the name of this movie, and we'll come back to this image in a second, The name of this movie was called The Cell. Okay. And in this, and I think it was in this movie. I could be wrong, but I think in this movie, it was this one or one of the other zombie ones for sure. But I think in this movie, when the zombies went into sleep mode, they walked in a circle around a tower. You know, the name of the movie and the word tower, right? And they walked in circles around it. And it was said that they were in kind of a sleep mode. And people in the movie, they came through with a truck and was just driving through the people, running them over. And they weren't even interested in getting out of the way. They were just totally zoned out by the tower. Okay. So maybe if that's not the movie that was in, somebody could please put that in the comments, if you would please, so people can go look that up if they want to. But now coming back to this guy is playing a role that he's the leader of a place of like resurgence of life and peace and happiness. And in this area, they drive Teslas. And it's my belief that this guy right here is playing the role of Tesla. Not Tesla, excuse me. What am I talking about? Elon Musk, okay? This guy is in the role of Elon Musk because he is kind of like over everything. He's the big boss, and he's old and not too healthy, but this is at some point in the relatively near future they're depicting it, right? And yeah, I think it's Elon Musk, and the reason I say that is because I can tell you for a fact, and there's no way I can prove it, and there's no way you can prove me wrong, but I can tell you for a fact that Starlink is not just for internet communication. They're putting up so that no matter what day or night you walk outside, they're putting up enough satellites, thousands and thousands. It's supposed to be like 30,000 when they're done. That so when you walk outside, there will always be a satellite, one or two, above your head that is projecting radiation down on you. Now, if I had a plan to dominate the world, I would do this and tell the people that I was doing it for their good and sell them the benefits of how great it was and even charge them money for it. Would they do that? I think they would. So, and I think I said that they were driving Teslas at this point in the movie, and there were some other reasons. Some of the things he said made me believe that this dude is Elon Musk, and this whole thing is probably tied to Starlink. Okay, let's see. I think I got about two more things maybe to show you at this point. This was an album that came out in 2010 called Black Rainbow, or Year of the Black Rainbow. And these are the titles of the songs. The first song is called One. The second is The Broken, and then Guns of Summer, and then Here We Are Juggernaut, and then Far, and then The Shattered Symphony, and then World of Lines, and then Made Out of Nothing, All That I Am, Pearls of the Stars, In the Flame of Air, When Skeletons Live, and then The Black Rainbow. And the name of the album was Year of the Black Rainbow. So it's saying all of this symbolically will be going on during the year of the black rainbow. That's my read on it. That's what I do here, is look at things and consider all the knowledge and things that I have seen and studied for the last over a decade, about 12 years, and try to see what they're doing. And that's what I do. So hopefully that's useful there. And then, let's see, there was something else. Well, I'll say this real quick. I don't think you missed the point of why this is on a mask. Right? When 3 strikes aren't enough, okay? How many waves have we had? We know we've had at least 1 strike because of this, right? At least potentially that could easily be said. So I just want to make sure you understood that. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to continue. It's just areas of interest, and I'm going to continue to follow this and try to organize this. And what I'm trying to do is organize them in sections like gematria, biblical reference, media, all those kind of things, okay? So that way you can understand. And I think at this point I believe I can upload this on YouTube without making anybody making the beast mad because I said too many wrong words. Because there's not a person listening to this. It's the beast. Part of the beast. It's his ears. He has a mouth too. And he has eyes. Because you carry him in your pocket. And I have one, but I don't carry my pocket. But yes, I'm still guilty a little bit. Or maybe a lot. I don't know. So guys, I'm going to keep this one short. And I love you. Thank you to those who have sent in a few support donations to help keep me going. I'll be back again with updates on this and a bunch of other things. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep her going until the wheels fall off. I love you. Our Father in heaven loves us. And we're all going to be okay. And, let me share this with you. In life, sometimes things bad happen, or you think they might be going to happen. And sometimes you kind of have to ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario? Okay? What's the worst case? Because what you want to do is you want to remove the fear out of yourself. The fear of what might be going to happen or whatever. Whether it's you're going to lose your house, or whether it's, you're going to have to sleep in a vehicle, whether it's this event happens, okay? Whatever it is. In life, you kind of have to look at it like this. You look at it and say, okay, what is the worst case scenario? And of course, we all know the worst case scenario is we tend to think that is death, okay? Personally, I think getting out of this world wouldn't be such a bad thing. I would never kill myself or do anything like that. So don't anybody get any ideas like that. You got to stay in class because there's a reason we're here. And if you're sitting here listening to my words, you're still doing okay. I know times and everything is tough in many ways. But look at the situation and think about, okay, what is the worst case scenario with this scenario? Like when I lived in Idaho and I had a big fancy house and a fancy car and lots of money coming in every month because I was in the real estate industry and I was very successful. But then I lost all that, and it taught me that you do not need the things in life that you think you need. Those are wants. Those are comforts. What you can get by with is a lot less. There was at least 5 years in my life where all I had was 2 suitcases and a laptop bag. And that was it. And I lived however I was able to live, you know. And traveled a bunch of different places, went different places, and met different people. And I never really told y'all guys all those stories about where I was at and what I was doing and what happened. Although I did tell a couple, like when I was in New Mexico. But let me try to get as direct to the point as I can get. Worst case scenario is not as bad as you think it is. But you do need to figure out, whatever the situation you're dealing with, what is the worst case scenario? And if you figure, well, I could live with that, then you don't have nothing to worry about. You don't have to stress it. It means you don't have to fear it. Plus, when you're in fear, you're going to make bad choices, because fear is an emotional state, and you do not want to be in fear. You want to be in a logical state of mind. So if you're ever in fear, you definitely do not want to make decisions, if you can at all avoid it, at that moment. Emotions are not meant to allow to run rampant. There are purposes for emotions, and they're not generally what we use them for. That would be a whole nother video for me to get into. I've talked about it a few years back, but emotions are a powerful thing. But if you don't control this powerful thing, it will cause chaos in your life. So you have to get control of the emotions so that the chaos is under control, and don't make decisions while you're upset. Okay? You cannot make solid, grounded, logical decisions while you're upset. So, as we see these events happening, remember, 1, some of them will never come to pass. Okay? 2, God is in ultimate control anyways. And that is a belief that you have to come to in your life, if you choose to. For me, I choose to. And I look at our life like we're here to learn something. And boy, are we not in some really interesting classes right now with everything that's going on, right? All right, guys. Like I said, I love you. Father loves you. And we'll talk to you again, give you another update on whichever one of these is ready for another update. The finale, or somewhat the finale, of Iris World is almost done, and I'll be recording it here in the next few days, hopefully. I love you. We'll talk to you later, guys.